Nick, what's the game called? It's called Fortnite. It's free.
Yeah! Oh my god! It worked! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh! Oh!
On the 26th of September 2017, Epic Games decided to drop a free-to-play Battle Royale game. At the time Fortnite got released, games such as H1Z1 and PUBG were dominating the gaming scene, and these were the highest viewed games on Twitch and YouTube. Epic Games wanted to rival these titles, but had no idea what they had just created. A few months after Fortnite's release, a lot of the Battle Royale games in the industry were receiving little to no updates. Streamers and players were getting constantly bored of the lack of updates and wanted a fresh new game, and lucky for them, Fortnite had just released. Popular streamers such as Ninja, High Distortion and Tfue all downloaded Fortnite as they saw its potential to grow their channels. And let's just say this was probably the best decision of their life. Towards November of 2017, more and more streamers and players began to play Fortnite. This meant that the player count in Fortnite grew exponentially. Players like Ninja started breaking world records by getting high kill games and uploading them to YouTube. This caused more people to start playing Fortnite as they saw its potential in its success. Which brings us on to Chapter 1, Season 2. Epic Games had seen the potential of Fortnite and how big it could really get. Therefore, they introduced the Battle Pass to players. Battle Pass consisted of 70 tiers and had a free section and a premium section, which had to pay $7.99 for. As Fortnite was a free game, a lot of players refused to spend money as they didn't know if the game was going to blow up or not. However, those who did spend money in Season 2 are very lucky now because the skins are worth quite a lot of money. Season 2 only lasted around 2 months as it was a test to see if players would purchase V-Bucks in the game, and due to the fact that it was a Christmas themed season. However, this season really sparked Fortnite and attracted a lot of players and was a main priority in Fortnite's success. However, Season 3 was where Fortnite's popularity really exploded. People began to realise how big Fortnite could really get, and play counts were at an all-time high, breaking world records not just for Fortnite, but the gaming industry in itself. Fortnite went from having 20 million users in 2017 to having 125 million just by April of 2018. Fortnite had also quadrupled the revenue that they had made from Season 2, making $75 million in 2017 to making $300 million in Season 3. This is mainly because Fortnite had expanded the Battle Pass from 70 tiers to 100 tiers. Fortnite also released weekly updates, and these went on for the entire of Season 3. Fortnite also added small space-themed Easter eggs, which leads us on perfectly to the next season. Season 4 is seen by many players today as Fortnite's prime. Upon Season 4's release, Fortnite was the most popular game in the world, as more and more players were beginning to play Fortnite. Player counts were increasing that rapid that Fortnite had to expand their servers to China and Oceania. Fortnite had also doubled the amount of money that they had earned from Season 3 alone. Season 4 was also the first season to have a live event in-game, causing millions of players to watch the live event all around the world. Players were loving how fresh the game felt after the new update, due to the fact that new POIs including Dusty Divot and Risky Reels were added due to the Meteor. This is also the season where a lot of popular streamers today grew their channel, including Myth, Faceway and Cloaksy. This is also, in my opinion, Fortnite's prime, just because of how simple the game was and how it wasn't overcomplicated like the seasons we have today. With the introduction of Season 5, it brought various different items into the game, a few of them being ATKs and Rifts. These items changed the meta of the game and changed how players would move around the map. With the introduction of the P90, the entire season was based around an SMG meta. However, this caused a lot of controversy around streamers and keyboard and mouse players. This is because the SMG meta at the time was so unfair on keyboard and mouse players that Fortnite received a lot of backlash and nerfed most of the SMGs. Despite the abuse Fortnite had taken, they made sure to add brand new POIs and map changes, and let's just say that they heavily succeeded. One brand new map change was the addition of Paradise Palms. This was the biggest location update that Fortnite had received yet. Throughout Season 5, Dusty Divot had trees added to it every single day. Weekly updates were still being added into Fortnite and players were heavily enjoying Season 5. This was also the season where turbo building was added and it created an entirely different meta for all of the players. A lot of the pro players spent a lot of time in playground mode practicing their builds, trying to improve them, as the meta was primarily focused on who could win build fights. However, a lot of players did enjoy Season 5 despite the abuse it had taken at the launch of the season. Season 6 was Fortnite's first Halloween themed season. Although Season 6 is not seen as memorable as the previous 5 seasons, it still received weekly updates and map changes. This is also the season where Fortnite's storyline really took off and places like Loot Lake had received their first ever update. The entire season was primarily based around Loot Lake and how it had risen out of the ground and Kevin the Cube was on the bottom of it. Now, despite this season falling below expectations of the previous 5 seasons, what a lot of players don't understand is how many items were actually added in this season. For example, the epic and legendary pump shotgun, the mounted turret, the heavy assault rifle, the dual pistols, the 6-shooter, the quad crashers, and the quad launchers. This changed the game's meta from Season 5 to Season 6 as more of a shotgun meta rather than a spray meta. Although this season was disliked by a lot of players, it still contributed towards Fortnite's popularity. The launch of Season 7 brought many different items and locations into the game. 3 new locations were added upon Season 7's release. This was also the season where Creative was launched and it changed the game forever. This allowed players to practice building, fighting, and to create maps for other players. Popular streamers such as FaZe Scissors made death runs which went viral. Prize pools were also added for the people who could beat the death runs the fastest. However, the one downside of Season 7 was that the Infinity Blade was added into the game. Because the Infinity Blade was so unfair, Fortnite decided to get rid of the Infinity Blade 2 weeks after its release. Despite the Infinity Blade being added, Season 7 is still one of the best seasons of all time and holds a special place in a lot of people's hearts. With the launch of Season 8, a lot of players began to realise the potential of the competitive side of Fortnite. Season 8 was the first time that the game mode Arena was added into the game. This caused a lot more professional players to take Fortnite more and more seriously. This is also the season where streamers such as Mongrel and Mr. Savage began to turn more heads and gain more viewers. There is no doubt that Season 8 is the first steps that Fortnite took when it came to competitive, contributing to Chapter 1's success. Chapter 1 Season 9 was where competitive in Fortnite really took off. Popular streamers such as Ninja were struggling to keep up with the new style of Fortnite. Players such as Clix and Skeptic were really dominating the gaming scene and were seen as one of the best players in the world at Fortnite. But there is one player that stood miles above the rest, winning the solo World Cup, and his name is Booger. This 16-year-old kid had absolutely destroyed the World Cup and earned himself $3 million. This proved to a lot of people that no matter how old you are or where you come from, that you can compete against pros and other people at a high skill level. This is also the season where items like the combat shotgun, the tactical assault rifle, the storm flip, and the chug splash were all added into the game. Season 9 also introduced us to slipstreams, which allowed players to move around the map in small air tubes. A lot of the items added not just changed Season 9, but the game that we know today. Season X brought a lot of new things to the game, some of them being definitely controversial. Despite the disgusting introduction of the mechs into Fortnite Season X, this season was such a fun season, and despite the backlash, a lot of players did really enjoy the season. Some new locations were added, such as Dusty Depot, and the factories were added back from Chapter 1 Season 1. Now, the main reason this season was seen as the worst season in Chapter 1 is due to the fact that it was based primarily for casual players rather than competitive players. Now, to answer the big question that you've all been waiting for on why was Chapter 1 so successful is primarily down to 3 things in my personal opinion. Reason 1 is due to the simplicity of the game. What I'm trying to say is that you didn't have to worry about anything overpowered like we have today in these chapters, and just how fresh the game felt throughout Chapter 1. It was so clean and everything was just perfect in my opinion. Moving on to reason 2 is the loot pool. And now I know this is a bit of a basic topic, but what we have to understand is if we compare Chapter 1's loot pool, Chapter 5's loot pool today, it's so much more easier to adjust to than the stuff that we have in the game today. Another thing is that different weapons weren't getting added in every single week. Yes, there were weekly updates, but there wasn't different nerfs or buffs on weapons that made things totally unfair, and everything just felt really smooth with all the guns, and it was really fun to play. Now, moving on to reason 3 is quite a broad topic. In my opinion, I think the meta was one of the main reasons why Chapter 1 was so successful. This kind of ties in with reason 2, but it's not just based on the loot pool. It's how players would actually play the game. They're not just relying on building heavily. Yes, it kind of switched to building after maybe Season 5, but for the majority of Chapter 1, the meta was so consistent and it didn't really need changing, whereas chapters and seasons today, the meta is just all over the place and it's not enjoyable whatsoever. I really hope you guys have enjoyed the video. I would really appreciate it if you could like and subscribe. I know everyone says it, but this video did take a lot of time to make, so I hope you guys have enjoyed, and I'll see you in a bit.